Good morning to you. This is Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie. It is 8:41.
Yes, and it's time to go through the papers now. Joining us this morning is broadcaster Liz Kershaw, alongside writer and journalist Andy Jones. Liz, should we start with your story in The Telegraph? It's the front page about Chinese spies.
Yeah, well, it's all coming to pass. I remember Dr David Owen of the Liberal Party, if anybody can remember that, and he warned that the biggest threat to the UK, this was in the mid-80s, so nearly 40 years ago, was the emergence of China. And a Commons committee this week, the Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee, said that China's ambition to become an economic superpower presents the greatest risk to the UK. And we all heard recently, didn't we, about Thames Water going bust?
Yeah.
And the major shareholder in that, to all our shock and horror, is China. And how can China possibly own the staff of our life in the UK?
Wow.
You know, you'd think we would own it, wouldn't you, as a nation? Anyway, and they also...
Well, the French own half our...
The French own our electricity. The Chinese trying to get into nuclear energy in the UK. Do you remember when they were trying to set up our 5G communications and that was stopped at the 11th
Yeah,
hour?
but they're the experts on it. This is why I
Yes.
don't understand. Huawei are the leaders in 5G communication.
Yeah, but then they own it. And also, you know, the number of university places that are occupied now by Chinese students, because it brings in the cash, especially the Russell Group universities, including Oxford and Cambridge, caught that, but they're now infiltrating university thinking with groups, PR. They've got spies in Parliament, in government. Wow. And the other thing is that across the world, you know, we've got a war going on in Ukraine where Russia's invaded part of the European continent. But China does it far more insidiously. You don't have to send an army in. They now own half of Africa.
Yeah.
Because they set us some poor African country.
They've bought the way in.
We'll build you a new dam and you can pay us back. And then they default on the loan and they take ownership of the dam. So they're owning all the infrastructure. They're buying up all the lithium mines across the world.
They're doing it for rare earth.
If you want a wind terminal, then the central part of that can only be obtained from China. And in the Caribbean, they're giving money to Jamaica and Barbados so that they turn on the Commonwealth because we can't give them that kind of cash.
Well, it's clever thinking, isn't it?
Well, it's
You need to
scary
think of it.
stuff.
The language of this report is scary stuff because it says this is a whole state assault by China which targets politicians, military and infrastructure, and it warns of a nightmare scenario where China had technological supremacy, it probably already does, and exerts political influence. And as Liz touched on, they're investing really heavily in our universities, particularly places like Cambridge, where our future leaders may come from, our future technological wizards, etc., etc. And it's quite alarming. And also, obviously, to have all of this expertise, we don't then have that expertise ourselves, so we become more and more reliant.
Well, instead of scaring ourselves to death, let's have a look at the Times, should we? And Jensen Button's wife is livid.
Livid, yeah. You can do a lot. You can upset a woman in lots of ways, but don't damage her handbag, particularly if it's. I don't know whether you've got a more expensive bag than this, Ellie, but
I doubt it.
A £20,000 Birkin handbag was. This is the wife of Jensen Button, model Brittany Ward. Her £20,000 Birkin handbag was damaged.
Is that how you spell Brittany? Just let me say B-R-I-T-T-N-Y.
It's how the Times has got it, and that's how the lady spells it.
Wow.
Indeed, I did a double take at that myself.
Not a fan of vowels.
No. She's a fan of handbags, though. She said the BA's inoperable business class seat smashed and scratched her bag and has caused mega damage.
Mega damage to a handbag.
Well, quite.
Isn't that shocking?
To be fair to her, though...
How do you live with yourself, Brittany? I'd be inconsolable. Spit it out.
The Birkins are collector's items. They are 20 to 50k.
But if it was 20... If you had a car that was 20 grand, you'd insure it, right? I mean, surely you have insurance for a 20 grand bag. I know that's not quite the point.
Well, I wouldn't be dragging it onto a plane.
No.
But then you want to get the use, don't you? You don't want to be keeping that at home.
I'd be terrified to carry it anywhere.
Yeah. But they are, and there's a wait list for them.
Yeah,
very
but if,
difficult
What
to-
number are you on the wait list?
No, I'm not on the wait list. Can't afford
if
one.
she could afford 20 grand for a bag, she can afford to get it repaired, can't
Right.
she, frankly?
Well, my handbag today was $16.99 and everybody's been trying to pinch it.
Have you? You always get cheap. Is it from a...
It's from TK Maxx.
Oh, well, there you
Yeah.
go, you see. Yeah, it's like a bargain.
I do.
What, have you got yourself a whole set of new bikinis for this hot weather?
For my holidays, yeah, I have. And, yeah, and a new one-piece cosy as well, because I thought I'd be sophisticated.
Oh, it's more
It was from
sophisticated.
Thasda, £10.
All right, because we are heading towards the second heat wave, says the Mail.
I picked this because this morning, annoyingly, you know how it is when you've got to get up at 3:30, you wake up at 1:30. So I got a coffee and I sat in bed scrolling the papers on my laptop, and this headline grabbed me. It's a different headline in the print version, but I just had to read this to you. Cerberus's Inferno. Europe set to hit its hottest temperature ever, lie, within days, as double heat waves that are named after mythological gardens of hell leave continent boiling in sweat. So the whole landmass is sizzling in scalding body fluids. It's ridiculous. So it can't be the hottest temperature ever because we've only had modern comparable records since 1850. It was 5 degrees hotter in Roman times. It was 3 degrees hotter in medieval times. I don't mind people saying it's getting hotter and, you know, there's this trend or whatever, but it's like a religion, the way this is written. When we were all covered in mud and we were living in dung huts and nobles went by in, you know, like in the Monty Python's film, it's the king. How do you know it's the king?
What's going on in Yardley
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, this is... I'll just read this. It is very hot.
Quickly.
Yeah. I've been in Sardinia when it was like having a hairdryer in your face in 2003, and a lot of people died that year in Europe. But... it says here, Cerberus, or exhausts itself, Italian weather forecasters are now predicting Chiron, named after Hades' ferryman, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Cerberus, named after Hades' three-headed dog in Greek mythology, will push her. It's like a religion where we've all got to be scared and we don't understand it and we can't question it.
Oh, I don't know.
I bet there are people watching who think, no, you're not allowed to question it.
It's better than calling it Susan or something, isn't it? Cerberus.
Oh, yeah.
Heatwave Jill.
Heatwave Jill.
Ryan.
Right, we're done with you two today. Thank you for popping by. Liz Kershaw, Andy Jones.
Thank you very much, both of you.
We'll see you very soon. Thank you.